Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today on Cooking Up Love, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make delicious skillet pizza with an easy homemade dough and a quick pizza sauce from scratch. These crispy crust pizzas can be made entirely on the stovetop or with a quick trip under the broiler to finish melting the cheese. If this is your first time at our channel, we believe sharing homemade food spreads joy and touches lives, and we'll show you how easy it is to make delicious dishes you can proudly share with everyone you love. Okay, let me show you how easy it is to make this delicious skillet pizza. Here's a quick look at our ingredients to make the dough and for cooking it in the skillet, and I've also listed them in the description box below. First, we're going to make the pizza dough because it's going to need to rise for about an hour and a half. This dough recipe will make 2 12-inch skillet pizzas or about 4 or 5 8-inch pizzas. To start, we'll need 1 cup of lukewarm water, about 105 degrees, and you really want this no hotter than 110 degrees to keep the yeast happy. Add 2 teaspoons of sugar and a half teaspoon of the yeast. I love this recipe because it only needs a half teaspoon of yeast, which I really appreciate now with some of our supplies running on the low side. Let this yeast mixture sit for about 5 minutes. You can see the yeast getting bubbly here. It already smells amazing. Next, mix in 2 cups of all-purpose or bread flour. Use what you have. And a half teaspoon of salt. You can also use a stand mixer with a dough hook to mix and knead the dough. Our oldest son will be going off to college in the fall, so I'm doing this by hand to show him how he can whip up some tasty pies at school. Thank you so much for watching our channel. When you watch, comment, and share our videos, it helps other people find us, and your support means so much to us. And did you know we have new videos every week? Subscribe and ring the bell so you know when we've posted a new one. Okay, now knead the dough for about 5 minutes using the heel of your hand to press the dough away from you and then pulling it back and folding it over. The dough starts out a little wet and sticky. Continue to add a bit of flour as you knead it and the dough will begin to feel smoother and less sticky. And when you can stretch it without holes developing, you'll know it's been kneaded enough. Form it into a ball and add about a tablespoon of oil to your clean bowl, rolling the dough in the oil to coat it and then use the dough to coat the sides of the bowl with oil. Cover with wrap or with a damp towel and set it aside for about an hour to rise so that it doubles in size. And this will be fine if you have to leave it to rise for a bit longer. Once the dough rises, it's time to prepare the cast iron skillets. Swirl about a tablespoon of oil in the bottom of the larger skillets, then add a pinch of salt, pepper, garlic powder if you like, and about a half teaspoon of cornmeal. Use your hands to spread this across the bottom and up the sides. And here's our dough. I let this rise for about an hour and a half. It looks gorgeous. Now punch the dough down and divide it in half. Stretch the dough to roughly the size of your skillet. You can also use gravity to help stretch the dough. Just hold it up and use your fingers to work the dough outward and move around the circle. Once it's roughly to size, place it in the bottom of the skillet. Then continue with the other skillets, or you can save this dough in the refrigerator for another day. Cover the dough in the skillets and let them rise for about 30 minutes. While the dough is rising, we're going to put together the sauce. Pour 1 cup of tomato sauce or puree into a bowl. Add a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of onion powder, a half teaspoon of dried oregano, a 1/4 teaspoon of dried basil, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Feel free to add crushed red pepper here if you like a spicier sauce. Add a 1/2 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce and 1 tablespoon of honey. Mix all of this together and let it sit until the pizzas are ready. When the dough in your skillet has risen for about 30 minutes, it's ready. Turn your broiler onto high. If you're not using the broiler, have a cover or foil ready to put over your pizza to melt the cheese. Now spread the pizza sauce over your pizza, getting all the way to the sides. I'm adding crushed red pepper on my pizza here, so that our sauce works for everyone, whether they like it spicy or not. And then add your favorite toppings. Place the skillet on the stove over medium heat. For me, this is about out of 4. And cook the pizza for about 3 minutes. Add your favorite cheese. I'm using mozzarella. And I forgot we had ricotta, so I usually put this down first, then the mozzarella, but this will have to do. If you're not using a broiler, cover it now to melt the cheese. Cook the pizza until the crust is nice and crunchy. You can lift up the sides and look underneath. This nice golden brown color is usually at about 5 to 6 minutes tops for me. If you're using a broiler, pop it under for a minute or 2 to melt the cheese now. Transfer the hot pizza to a rack to cool for a few minutes. This will keep the crust nice and crispy. And then cut and serve. This homemade skillet pizza is so easy. These are great for pizza parties or when you're hungry for a quick pizza. This pizza dough can keep in the refrigerator for a couple of days and then just let it come to room temperature and rise in the pan for a delicious snack. If you're looking for more easy recipes to share with your family and friends, check out this easy dinner recipes playlist. And here's another video I think you'll like. Alright, I'll see you over there.